everybody, and welcome back to the SaltyyShow, and welcome back to Total War Rome 2 Empire Divided campaign as the Palmyra Kingdom, still somehow episode 37. Hope you guys are doing well today, and if you are, like and subscribe as always. But first and foremost, it is good to be back, folks. I'm honestly enjoying playing the console. I've got a couple games on there that I'm playing right now. That many of you have probably heard of, between Avowed and World of Warships Legends. Definitely those are two of my big kicks right now. But I have missed my computer, and I've missed having some fun in Europe, especially ancient Europe. I have skipped a couple of turns just to get you guys closer to the action, so I'm going to fill you in on the overpass of our large front line with the Germanic kingdoms that invaded Aurelian's Rome and kicked him out way before we could get to him. First and foremost, we're hot off the tails of the Battle of Sparta and claiming victory. They engaged us on the coast, and they proceeded to counterattack us once we secured the settlement. But thankfully, the forces of the Marcomanii were pushed back, beaten, and Strabo has managed to recruit some new local forces, and we've been able to hold out. Meanwhile, the fleets led Biblicus and Juventius are sailing north towards Athens. I'm hoping to draw out their fleet one at a time so that we can slaughter them, and once we do, we will actually have a lot more firmer control over the Meridian, allowing us to get rid of some of our coastal garrisons. I am recruiting the Legion of Galatia out here, led by Scroffa, a new upcoming general, to sail to Greece to aid in the conquest of Athens, as I don't think Strabo can do it alone. Meanwhile, Zenobia and her son tentatively hold the front line here with the large border here at Tremodium and Apollonia Pontica. In the north, we have secured Sarmatia, taking it from the Quadi, and we're going to build a nice little religious outpost here to hopefully convert the Scythians to our culture. And we've already moved our army far, far north, leading our nomadic allies on a conquest led by General Ruga and the Legion of Odenathus. We are pushing to Arthemar here, a city decently guarded by a bunch of random barbarian hordes. And thankfully, the biggest threat we have right now in the north that I've realized is not necessarily the Gothi, the Quadians, or the Marcomanii over here. It is the only last German kingdom that we're not at war with, and that would be the German Confederation. They by far have some of the strongest fleets, packed full of Germanic spear masters, and they have some of the largest armies, chock full of a lot of spear levies, but they have good hunters, and they are actually getting some decent later tier men as well. And just here alone, we see 2 full stacks prized with some of the Germanic second tier units. We have recruited forces where we need them, and we are waiting for the assault. I don't think the enemy are going to come to us. I'm actually going to sail our fleet just a little closer, but we're going to keep them close together, because one-on-one, I think we would take some deep casualties. We have expanded to where we are now the largest Imperium level, granting us not very many boons at all, but a lot of negatives. And one of those negatives was diplomacy has gotten a lot harder. However, I have managed to quell the feelings of our multitude empire kingdom-wide levies and client states, all of that, to where most of them, actually all of them, are still happy. And we managed to even pick up a new one up here with the Verini, as they are surrounded by their enemies to the south. They're very small, so they decided to hop on board with us, which I haven't even checked out. They got a nice blue color, that's lovely. Yeah, they have a fleet. Oh, their army is raiding. Glitched out here, but they are raiding. Don't know why they're doing that. Looks like they don't have a general. That could be a bug. But we're going to ignore it, and we're going to move on. What's going on here? Ooh, I didn't find this out till just now. The Gurha have landed in Italy. That is going to be precarious if Gurha continue on their conquest against Gallic Rome. It's going to be very hard to convert that culture without using devious means. And that is the goal we're trying to convert. We only need 8 more provinces, actually, so that's not going to be too hard. I mean, we already claimed Sparta. We haven't touched Macedonia yet, along with Illyricum. Thracia is our culture. Dacia, Panoi, Sarmatia. Okay, yeah, so we have quite a few. I don't think we necessarily need to worry if our allies take on Rome. I mean, we're a kingdom of Palmyra, based in Palmyra. We don't need Rome to call ourselves victors, but we're going to go ahead and end the turn and see where the first sort of counter-offensive or might of resistance hits our forces as we continue carving a path back to where Aurelian used to call home. With our sieges going nicely, I figured I'd catch you guys up to speed. Arthemia does appear to be falling rather swiftly. They have a plague outbreak, and their army is already faltering. The Iste are providing some much-needed garrisoning power to back up our legion of Odaenathus, and the enemy kingdoms are staying far, far back. With that, we are moving our agents and our saboteurs to Pantacapium. I'm going to butcher that, but the last remaining settlement in the Bosporus region that we need, as the German Confederation is on the chopping block as well. However, I want to knock them out as swiftly as we can, because this fleet, while it's only a 14 stack, can wipe the floor with a settlement garrison. So we have to make sure all our ports are safe, and we have to make sure we have a legion that can hopefully swoop them in. I really want them to sail back so we can get a nice drawn out siege. But Arthemir is holding fine. The agents across the board in our armies are maintaining their presence. Our allies are actually starting to really push, and Italy has out of nowhere fallen. Gallic Rome only holds Rome itself, and that's being besieged by the Saxon kingdom right now as we speak. The Saxons have managed to actually carve out a little piece of chunk of land for themselves, as it is just a patchwork in Gaul, Italy, and northern Germania. It's just a patchwork of kingdoms fighting for what was the Roman Empire at one time, and Gallic Rome trying to symbolize that in the west. They still have a extremely firm grip on Hispania and southern Gaul. Nothing's been able to pierce there. It does look like Caledonia is making attempts to, but when it comes to their grip on Italy, it is definitely starting to falter quite severely. Thanks to our allies as well for that. Meanwhile, Africa, Numidia has been pushed all the way back to Mauritania. They still hold the entirety of that province, but I don't know for how much longer. So, with that though, the reason I started to record is because we are about to partake in the siege of Athens. What you all didn't see was our client state Maine, however you want to say it, took this settlement, but the Marcomanii have sent forth one of their new armies, the Blood Axes, with quite the experienced general. They are unfortunately suffering attrition thanks to our spies, but they are just a stone's throw away from interfering with our siege, and the settlement combined with the army, while they are definitely not full strength, could pose quite the potential risk for damaging the Legion of Armenia. And as you can see, with the amount of armored auxiliary pikes and spearmen that we already have, I don't think we can really suffer another costly victory. So we're going to push the siege of Athens, and what I'm going to do actually is use the prized fleet of our Palmyra kingdom, the Classis of Dagon, to lead the assault.
Set up a blockade!
As I believe the fleet has a rather strong chance of taking down the garrison by themselves, and that would leave the army prepared and able to defend without suffering too many casualties. So without further ado, let us liberate Athens. Hello everybody, and welcome to the Siege of Athens led by the Classis of Dagon, the pride of the Palmyrian kingdom, as we have our first initial skirmish here, where their little garrison navy tries to go toe-to-toe with our brave warriors. And the battle surely begins. We have encircled the entirety of the settlement, and we're going to let our navy do a lot of the talking in today's battle. A lovely initial clash. If I could talk today, that'd be great. We're going to bring a little help over here just to seal the deal. Oh, and the insult to injury on those javelins. As the rest of our fleets go to work. Getting some lovely javelin throws on here. Let's go ahead and seal the deal with the rest of these forces here. Our giant fleet will make very quick work of anything out on the open water. Oh. And just like that, all of you are going to sink and cannot swim. We have scuttled what remained of their fleet, and now begins the devious land assault. The AI, being rather smart, they have deployed a lot of their forces here on the beachhead, waiting for our attack. First and foremost, we are going to throw up our ballistas here to try and deal with some of their towers in the meantime. But until that point, and until we land, it's going to be a rather deadly skirmish for the enemy, and not so much for us. So begins the naval invasion. Our Palmyrian legionaries ready to disembark and take the fight to the German warriors waiting below them. Right into the fray as we unload our forces here and go into the battle. We are not only landing over here, we are landing within their settlement as well, with our Palmyrian spearmen securing the beachhead and pushing to tighten the noose on the enemy this way as well. The enemy having to redistribute their forces quite rapidly. Meanwhile, I'm having quite a bit of fun controlling the ballista as I've destroyed these two towers, and we're going to target these skirmishers very quickly. But our initial naval landing has taken the brunt of the force here, as we are going to be fighting them tooth and nail. They're not going to give up this beach easily. And the German spear warriors, sword and axe, really do put a beating on our spearmen. No matter what level they are, it really does hurt quite a bit. Our spearmen have also been engaged against some Germanic warriors, allowing these skirmishers to somewhat get free. But as you can see, I am letting the AI do the work, as I am having a little blast here. Just this is by far cheating, and this is why I remember in the heyday of Rome 2's multiplayer, you were not allowed to control the artillery, because you could do stuff like this, and I'm going to continue doing this throughout the siege. You'll see randomly where I am just devastating this whole siege unit. But we are landing the rest of our force here with some swift resistance, honestly, but not everywhere. The enemy are going to hold the beachhead as best they can. We are securing the little peninsula here as well with some spearmen that are going to flank the enemy here that have held up the rest of our forces. Our men are way too bunched up here. No wonder that tower up there was doing so much damage. I didn't realize that. But most our forces have deployed, and we are flanking with what forces we can. Any legionary not caught up in the melee right now needs to get into it, get into the fray. I do love the mod reskin that I'm using. The shields look amazing, the units look amazing. That actually did hurt a couple of our men, but I'm going to ruin this unit with this. Yep, they're dead. And I do think one of our ballistas is out of ammunition as we send them away. A lovely javelin throw into the wolf warriors here, as they are some of the deadliest units. As you can see, they've made very quick work of our initial legionary force here. They have two strong pockets of resistance here and over here, and this one over here is proving rather troublesome as well. As you can see, I'm trying to line up a shot on the enemy, and I notice there's a lovely pocket of German warriors right here that I'm going to just have a lot of fun shooting into. We did lose a legion though. They are running, but that just allows the enemy to bundle up even more as we just rack up some kills on these guys. I'm having way too much fun slaughtering their main line as our spearmen do everything they can to hold. Oh yeah, it's just too perfect. It's too good. What am I supposed to do? Not do this? They're actually putting up a decent defense on the beach here, so not like I can do anything. Meanwhile, we are going to tighten the little encirclement we have over here, slaughtering what remains of the slingers or the hurlers they have on this side, so that we can aid our spearmen over here that have kind of been bottled up for way too long and taking a lot of casualties from the flanking and the spearmen. As you can see, I'm back at it. Back at shooting the poor men over here. I'm going to try and actually hit some of these levies too, because this legion does not need to be tied up for too long dealing with some levy forces. And over here, this pocket of resistance is holding really well, honestly. Their backs are against the cliffside, and it's really hard to get into them. As you can see with their little circle of resistance here. Our small fleet is just watching, by the way. But we have encircled the enemy over here. It is not nearly as effective. They've kind of gone back to back, and they are doing everything they can to make this a bloody battle for us. As you can see, they've actually slaughtered quite a lot of spearmen here. Meanwhile, the wolf warriors really hurt us, but we're going to get some revenge on them and just absolutely slaughter what little remain, saving the rest of this legionary force from completely withering away. Excuse me. With that, that ends this little pocket of resistance. Excuse me again, I hope that didn't catch it, but all that remains is this force over here and the ones that our spearmen are dealing with. Ooh. A disrespectful shield throw is never good to see when it's your own guy. We are going to try and pull some of our stronger legion out to flank around, trying to mitigate their back against the wall cliff situation. Meanwhile, over here, our poor spearmen are taking one hell of a beating, honestly. They've managed to keep quite the pocket of resistance against us. Quite brutal indeed. But thankfully, the major beachhead is about to be ours, as we have fully encircled the Germanic warriors here, and we are best represented right here where we have circled the enemy, and we are sealing the deal. And now we can resume the campaign. And with that somewhat lengthy siege, Athens is ours, to no cost to the Legion. Our fleet definitely took quite the beating, though. They will need time to recover. However, everyone else is doing okay. What we will do, though, is raise everything to the ground.
Fleet reporting.
And fingers
Ready for
crossed, yes, that
orders.
allows our legion to do as they please. Now, with that in mind, let's get a sanitation building. Culture is already swaying towards our favor. Athens, don't really know if it needs a barracks. We're getting quite a good force from our auxiliaries already. Industry would be a good idea. And then let's grab... We already have a decent building there for banditry. So we could go for just another agora.
Ready for orders.
So yeah, they definitely took quite the thrashing.
It is an honor, but your backs into it, you men.
That's not necessary. But we did knock out one of their ports. Both their fleets are still kicking though, so we'll need to be very careful. They can't hit us this turn, but if they do try to go for an assault, we'll need to pull back our smaller fleet so that they don't get caught in the crossfire. Speaking of fleets, the Marcomanii are bringing around a new one from the Ionian Sea.
Commander.
These are both admirals. That army is not there. There is no garrison here at Pharsis.
Ready for battle.
I don't see a reason not to lock down this army here. So that's exactly what we're going to do.
Besieging settlement.
I see a lot of levies.
None
Their
will
general will have to assault us next turn, so we should hopefully get at least a turn of attrition on them. Our fleets will recover at Athens, and slowly but surely we should be able to link up with Zenobia and her son Valbalithus. Valbalithus. What a name. The Marcomanii are bringing a new force, though, or the Quadi, my bad, that is the Quadi. They are bringing a new force. We need to be careful with that. We still only have one legion. However, locking down Pharsalis here could give us a nice, strong front line to defend, being able to knock out protecting 2 settlements versus trying to protect all 3. And that's correct. Our fleet, or our army, has successfully recruited everything. Let's go ahead and get them sailing at Ephesus. They've made it to the fleet, meaning next turn they should be able to reach Athens, which is great. We'll have a brand new, fresh army ready to go. Palmyra, we're going to...
Victory for Rome!
Yep, we're going to maintain the siege. We're in no rush up here in the north, so we're fine there. When it comes to finances, we are building the last unique building that we get, the Great Colonnade, granting us quite a huge public order and squalor issue, but a lot of wealth, influence, and culture. And it's also going to be... I hit the wrong button. It's also going to give us the last, like I said, the last unique building we need for our cultural victory, which I do think is what I'm going to go for. Economy. Economy be damned. At least 90,000 talents. I really don't think I am the gamer for that. I do apologize. Control 65 settlements. We've already done that. All right, yeah. So, I mean, really, it'd be just 90,000 talents and securing some of these regions. Cultural looks like it's going to be the one we get, though. And I'm okay with that. I've never had a cultural victory. I've always gone military, so this will be quite fun if we can pop it off like that. Very quickly, though, I want to check. Our food issue has completely withered away, which is amazing. We're actually going to fix it even more in a couple turns when Egyptus is done growing. Mesopotamia has turned into quite the food basket as well, converting some of these to farming instead of cattle. We could continue increasing that. I don't think we necessarily need to. Mesopotamia is the next region that we want to grow, though, so I guess we might as well start growing it. And let's just go ahead and start with the city. Make sure we don't need to spend money anywhere. We don't need the money diplomatically, do we? Donians have come around to us. No, everything is looking rather handy-dandy on our end, so we should be okay to spend the money investing in our regions. Going from top to bottom. Let's go ahead and get that underway. And hopefully get one more intern in there at least. That was actually quite the battle at Athens. I haven't done it yet, obviously, but I look forward to recording the replay on that battle. Getting some nice cinematic beach landings. We don't get those often.
Your armies would surely...
Oh, hello, Bubba. My co-host is, of course, with me as always. Being a very relaxed day as we've spent a lot of time outside, so... Wow! I didn't even think about that. He didn't assault us. Did that just kill the army?
At your command.
Did that just kill the army? What does this give us? Growth, horses, so agriculture, livestock. Excuse me. We're going to make Macedonia a new military recruitment center, along with Thrace. It'll be the front line, obviously. Well, wait, Thrace is already... So, truth be told, the auxiliary field here would be best. So that's what we'll do instead. I don't know, did that really just kill the army off, or did that let them go somewhere?
As you command, swift and silent.
Wow, that is insane that they did not try to assault us. Holy cow. They just lost a amazing general.
What do you wish? My skills. I'll see them. They'll never see me.
Wait just a minute. I'll be damned. Ha ha ha, son of a gun. The Gothic have given up their own kingdom to join the German Confederation.
How can I serve?
That is rather unfortunate.
Moving out. On the move. I will make my father proud.
My skills are yours.
Let's keep her here, deploy her. We need to see where these forces are. The Iste. Shoot. That... Man, that puts us in quite the little pickle here with all of a sudden us being into a Cold War with the German Confederation.
At your command.
Well, we can still take Arthamir without risk. Their forces don't appear to really be close to us. But it does mean their naval power has really escalated in the Black Sea. Rome did fall to Saxony. They have quite a little kingdom all of a sudden in northern Italy. That's the least of my worries, though.
Fleet reporting.
Okay, so unfortunately this fleet isn't going to go anywhere.
Hard on the oars, you men.
But they're not really... Nobody's at risk of being
Ready for orders.
assaulted, which is good.
Your orders.
And we're going to keep our main fleet there. The Marcomanii are accumulating all of their military power at Thessalonica. I still can't believe that.
How can I be of
I can't believe they
assistance?
didn't fight us, and I can't believe that the Gothi gave up their independence. It's actually a rather smart move. I mean, the ally was, or the enemy was faltering. They were willing to accept subjugation. I didn't show that, but they are. That's the one we want, cultural conversion. They were willing to accept subjugation, so I'm not surprised when the German Confederation offered them a seat at the council that they decided to take it. What did we finish researching? I should have looked at this first, foremost. Oopsies. Yeah, the Gothi, they've joined together. Mount Olympus was secured. Foreign veterans is what we gathered. Okay, so we gained... okay, mercenary points, good. Let's go ahead and finish out the battle tree, getting our cavalry and then our siege equipment upgrades going. I cannot believe that. That is so crazy. Dealing with their fleet is going to be the biggest thing. We have 6,400. It's going to be extremely expensive trying to... It's going to be extremely expensive trying to get this stuff. Another fleet would cost us basically the bank. But we could do it. We could also look to converting this one, the one led by Marcus here, to a better fleet.
For honor and glory.
Let's go ahead and do that. Let's get rid of the Vigiles here. And... wow, these are expensive. Holy cow. But that's fine.
Assembling the fleet.
That's $1,000 right there. That's $2,000. Slowly but surely we will get there, and we can start slowly getting rid of some of our legions that are protecting these settlements once the front lines get further away.
Ready for battle.
I'm baffled. I can't believe they didn't assault us. Make sure our politics are okay. 1128, perfect. All right, you're so far away from the front line. Let's go ahead and get rid of this and upgrade that. As good as the Eastern archers are, they're nowhere near our front line anymore. Even our recruitment center of Galatia is nowhere near our front line anymore. So we're at a very uneasy...
Burn everything you can't steal.
We're at a very uneasy situation, to say the least.
Fleet reporting.
Let's get one more intern in there and see what happens.
The sword was...
Nope. Well, with our southern campaign somewhat grinding to a halt as the Marcomanii have forced my hand. Unfortunately, the legion we had sailing across the Aegean needed to turn tail and go north towards the Hellespont. Thankfully, they have started to make their way, and they're about to be able to relieve our heir of Tremodium's defense and allowing him to go gain some much necessary victory to take the throne one day. However, their fleets are very menacingly posing a large risk. They're both in forced, or well, wow, this one, there's no way that's accurate. It has to be, yeah, it has to, yeah, okay. It's also in double wind, or whatever you want to call it, double row. Along with this one, they are posing a significant risk, basically blocking off any reinforcements coming from the Aegean to Greece, and they've
Ready for
required Atelius here to gather quite the expensive Cretan, the Legion of the Empress. That is a hell of a name. I love that. I'm gonna keep that one. and a hell of an expensive mercenary army to defend the city, along with a new fleet, the classes of Crete. Both of these are temporary, as we will slowly replace the mercenaries and rebuild our own forces here, the same way we did Rhodes, with quite the strong force. Now, the reason I've started recording is because this is going to be where I'm going to call today's episode, leaving it on the cliffhanger that we are going to go to war with the German Confederation, calling forth the Mori, the Franki, and the Abatea. Hopefully they will all join. Indeed they do. And we're going to lay siege to Pantaseum, which is not in our favor, primarily because of, the Heralds of Nyx, which is their massive fleet of Germanic spear masters. So we're going to need to be very, very careful. We can go into night battle and eliminate everything except that massive fleet, but we want to get them involved, and we need to win it this time. So what I'm thinking of doing is rather risky,
Set up the watch.
but I'd really appreciate if we caught the fleet here, or if our army, well, tell you what,
Easy into port. Attack for Rome.
the garrison is going to struggle, and it's primarily a fleet-based garrison, meaning the 8 units is all I'm going to deal with on the initial walls. That should give us plenty of time to assault. But everybody, that is where I'm going to call today's episode, so you have something to look forward to. The siege to secure the Bosporus. If we can eliminate the German fleets here in one fell swoop battle, that'll drastically secure the Black Sea, allowing our legions here that have been garrisoning the settlements for years to finally go on leave, freeing up a much needed vacuum of our economy. There are still threats, such as the fleet at Olbia. However, it's not really that big of a deal, and we can kind of keep an eye on one fleet the same way we have with the Marcomanii. But the Germanic spearmasters that they have posted there need to die. But that's where I'm going to call it. If you enjoyed today's episode and today's battles, especially the glorious naval landing of Athens, like and subscribe as always. But without further ado, I've been your host, Saltyy, my co-host, Winston, and we will catch you guys in the next one. Till then, peace out, everyone.